In September 2024, a scandalous court case shocked all of France, evaluating the actions of 71-year-old Dominique Pelico from the southeast of France. The man testified in court that he had repeatedly drugged his wife and, while she was unconscious, raped her and invited strangers to rape her as well. This took place over a span of 9 years, from July 2011 to October 2020. Giselle Pelico, unaware of the violence being committed against her, was raped 92 times by 72 men, with her husband recording each instance on video. The abuse was only discovered in September 2020 when Dominique Pelico was arrested for taking upskirt photos in a supermarket. This is another form of illegal behavior where an offender secretly photographs women's private areas in public places while they wear skirts. Following this, the police found thousands of photographs and videos of rapes on Dominique's computer. Pelico is also accused of training his acquaintance, Jean-Pierre Miracle, to drug and rape his wife as well. The trial in Vienne, involving Dominique Pelico and 50 other men accused of rape, began on September 2, 2024, and is expected to end in mid-December this year. Dominique Pelico was born on November 27, 1952, in Kinsussener, in the Essonne department near Paris. After school, he trained as an electrician and initially worked in this field, then as a real estate agent, and later as a technical sales agent for fire alarm systems and computer equipment. It was during this time, in 1971, that he met Giselle. They married in April 1973 in Vazel-Ferrin, in the Under department. They had 2 sons, David and Florian, and a daughter, Caroline. The family lived in the Paris suburb of Villiers-sur-Marne. In 2010, 57-year-old Dominique was arrested for peeking under the skirts of female shoppers at a Carrefour supermarket in Coligny, in the Seine-et-Marne department. He was fined €100, but at the time, his wife was not informed about the incident. In March 2013, the Pelico family moved to Mazan, in the Vaucluse department, a small town northeast of Avignon in southeastern France. Their 3 children and 7 grandchildren regularly visited them at their rented house in Mazan. Dominique Pelico was arrested on September 12, 2020, after being detained by a security guard for peeping under the skirts of 3 female shoppers using his mobile phone at the L'Eclair supermarket in the town of Carpentras, Vaucluse. A camera, a photo camera, and condoms were found in his bag. During questioning at the police station in Avignon, Pelico claimed that he usually didn't do such things, and that he was overwhelmed by the urge to act this way because his wife had been away from home for a month. He was released on bail until the investigation was completed regarding 2 of his mobile phones, a laptop, and other digital equipment that were seized from his home. The examination of Pelico's seized equipment revealed that he had been part of a private chat called Without Her Knowledge, where participants discussed engaging in sexual acts with their partners without consent, often after drugging them. The website, registered in Guernsey, belonged to a Bulgarian company, Vinci SA, and was managed by someone named Isaac Steedle. From 2021 to 2024, the site was linked to more than 23,000 criminal cases in France and was shut down in June 2024. In the chats, Pelico invited other men to rape his wife and watch videos of previous rapes. There were also messages on Skype where he boasted about drugging his wife and inviting strangers to rape her while she was unconscious. On a USB drive connected to Pelico's computer, investigators found a folder titled Abuse, containing more than 20,000 images and videos of rapes. Giselle appeared limp and unconscious in them. Dominique had given the files telling titles, such as Violence Night, May 26, 2020, with Mark Sodmia 5 times, indicating the dates, the names of the offenders, and the nature of the actions. This allowed investigators to identify 92 separate instances of rape committed against Giselle by 72 different men between July 2011 and October 2020. It took the police 2 years to establish the identities and whereabouts of most of the offenders, of whom only 50 rapists were identified. At the time of the rapes, the offenders' ages ranged from 21 to 68 years. Additionally, photos of Pelico's 2 daughters-in-law in the shower were found, which had been taken and posted online without their consent. 2 photos of his daughter, Caroline Darien, were also discovered. She was about 30 years old at the time, lying unconscious in bed as if under anesthesia, wearing her mother's underwear. However, Pelico never admitted to mistreating Caroline. On November 2, 2020, Dominique and Giselle Pelico were summoned to the police for questioning. The police interrogated Giselle about their sexual life, and she told them that she had never been involved in wife swapping or threesome sex. They showed her a photo, but she didn't recognize the man and woman sleeping in the image. The officer asked whether the bed and table in the photo belonged to the Pelico family, but Giselle still did not recognize herself. But when they showed her the second photograph, she finally understood what had happened to her. Between 2011 and 2020, she was raped about 200 times, initially in Paris and then in Mazan. That's when the woman's world collapsed. Dominique Pelico was arrested again on November 2nd, 2020, and charged with rape under aggravating circumstances and numerous other sexual offenses. He was also accused of violating the privacy of his wife, daughter, and 2 daughters-in-law by illegally recording and periodically distributing intimate photos of them. Pelico admitted his guilt. He also confessed that he enjoyed watching other men torment his wife. He stated that he was ready to face his family in court. According to Pelico, the violence began after his wife was prescribed lorazepam, a sedative and anxiolytic medication that caused drowsiness. He exploited this by secretly adding the drug to his wife's food and drinks, causing her to lose consciousness, which allowed him to perform sexual acts such as anal sex that she normally refused. He filmed the abuse, sometimes after taking Viagra, and shared the recordings online. He invited strangers from the internet to watch him rape his wife. In other cases, he offered to have other men rape his wife. Eventually, Dominique began receiving pills from his doctor to give to his wife. According to health insurance records, Pelico received prescriptions for 450 tablets of anxiolytics in just 1 year. Each rape followed a similar pattern. Dominique asked the perpetrator to park far from the house so they wouldn't be noticed and to wait for about an hour for the pills he had given to Giselle to take effect. The criminals were told not to use perfume or smoke because Giselle had a strong sense of smell. The perpetrators were instructed to undress in the kitchen or living room to leave no trace in the bedroom, and to warm their hands on the radiator or in hot water so as not to wake the woman. Pelico insisted that the perpetrators not use condoms. One of the perpetrators was HIV infected and committed 6 rapes. As a result, Giselle was diagnosed with 4 sexually transmitted infections, although she did not contract HIV or hepatitis B and C. After the rapes, Pelico would wash his wife's body. No money exchanges took place between Pelico and the other perpetrators. It is believed that Dominique had homosexual relations with some of the accused, while others supplied the drugs used to intoxicate Giselle. The rapes caused immense damage to Giselle's health. Her hair began to fall out, and she lost almost 16 kilograms. In the last years of her life in Paris, she started to lose her memory. Her children and friends feared she had Alzheimer's disease. Memory loss and fatigue worsened after she moved to Mazan. One day, she woke up with a haircut she couldn't remember. She went to her hairdresser, who told her she had gotten the haircut the day before. She also complained of pain in her cervix. Giselle sought medical help multiple times, but she was always accompanied by Dominique Pelico, who claimed her symptoms were caused by exhaustion from taking care of her grandchildren in Paris. None of the doctors suspected that her symptoms were caused by the abuse Pelico was secretly subjecting her to. Upon discovering the abuse, Giselle left her marital home with just 2 suitcases. She later divorced her husband and changed her surname. Despite Dominique admitting his guilt and calling himself a rapist during the trial, Pelico once stated that he did not believe he had done anything wrong and claimed that he saved his wife from suffering by drugging her. He told the assigned investigating judge and detective that he was 9 years old when he was raped by a nurse during treatment at a clinic following a head injury inflicted by his brother. However, according to his brother Thierry, their mother had made inquiries at the clinic and found that there was no nurse working there at the time Pelico claimed he was raped. Thierry stated that he does not believe his brother's statement. Pelico also told the investigator that his father was cruel to his mother, but according to Thierry, although their parents argued, the only instance of violence he witnessed was when his father hit his mother once or twice. Pelico also claimed that his career ambitions were limited by the fact that his parents invested all their savings into his brother's medical education. However, Thierry refuted this claim, stating that his education was funded by a scholarship. Pelico's daughter, Carolina Darien, published a book in 2022 about the case titled, "And I Stopped Calling Myself Dad When Chemical Submission Destroys a Family." She also founded a non-profit organization called Don't Put Me to Sleep to raise awareness of the dangers of crimes committed using drugs. She filed a civil lawsuit against her father. In addition to the abuse of his wife, Pelico is accused of preparing Jean-Pierre Miracle to commit the same abuse against his own wife. Between 2015 and 2020, Pelico regularly visited Miracle's home to train him. Pelico and Miracle are accused of 10 counts of raping Miracle's wife. Jean-Pierre Miracle has not been charged with raping Giselle Pelico. On June 19, 2023, Governolo Giorno, the investigating judge of the Avignon court, published a 370-page report in which 51 men were charged with rape and a 52nd suspect died of cancer before arrest. The accused range in age from 25 to 72 years old and come from various walks of life, including a firefighter, IT specialist, journalist, plumber, prison guard, and truck driver. Many of them have families and children, and 41 of them live in the suburbs. Most are charged with 1 count of rape, but some face multiple charges, including one who is charged with 6 counts of rape. 5 men are also accused of possessing images of child sexual abuse. As of November 2024, 18 defendants are in custody, 16 for this case and 2 for other cases, while 33 are free but under judicial supervision. The defendants face up to 20 years in prison if found guilty. Some of the defendants have confessed, while others claim everything was done by mutual consent or that Giselle pretended to be asleep or agreed to be drugged. Some argued that they had Dominic Pelico's permission, and that was enough for them. 12 defendants appealed the indictment, but on October 5, 2023, the Nîmes Court of Appeal rejected the appeal. The trial of Dominic Pelico, Jean-Pierre Miracle, and 49 other defendants began on September 2, 2024, at the Eminon Court and is expected to last until December 20, 2024. The prosecutor and several defense attorneys requested a closed trial. However, Giselle Pelico opposed this and, through her lawyer, demanded a public trial so everyone would know what she had endured. After deliberation by 5 professional judges, presiding Judge Rogi Arida announced that the trial would be open. During the trial, Dominic Pelico was hospitalized with a kidney infection and kidney stones, but gave testimony in which he admitted to all the charges against him. On September 14, 2024, feminist organizations organized protests in 30 districts across France to show solidarity with Giselle and other victims of sexual violence. Around 700 people participated in the demonstration in Republic Square in Paris, and 200 people gathered at the courthouse in Marseille. Dominic Pelico was also implicated in 2 other crimes. On December 4, 1991, 23-year-old real estate agent Sophie Norm was found dead, naked, and face down on the carpet in an apartment she was supposed to show a client in the 19th district of Paris. She had been raped and then strangled with a belt. The police initially linked the case to serial killer Michel Fourniret and later to an elusive sexual predator known as Le Grill. The case remained unsolved for 30 years until similarities were discovered with rapes in Mazin. On October 14, 2022, Dominic was charged with the rape and murder of Sophie Norm, but he denies this accusation. On May 11, 1999, a man attempted to rape 19-year-old real estate agent Estelle B. while she was showing him an apartment in Villeparisis, a suburb of Paris in the Seine-et-Marne department. However, the victim managed to escape after resisting. After Pelico's arrest in 2010, it was discovered that his DNA matched the DNA found on Estelle B's shoes in 1999. However, at that time, the police did not investigate the case, and Pelico was able to continue his criminal activities. After his arrest in 2020, Pelico's DNA again matched the DNA from the Villeparisis case, and after a series of denials, Pelico confessed to the attempted rape of Estelle. On October 23, 2024, Giselle Pelico testified about how her ex-husband drugged her and raped her by putting sleeping pills in her ice cream. In October 2024, protests in Paris, Lyon, and beyond called for solidarity with Giselle Pelico, who courageously faced her alleged abusers in a high-profile trial. Her determination to speak out mobilized public support and highlighted the need for stronger measures against sexual violence in France. This case is still ongoing.